All right, Steve, I got to take off, man. I got some things to do.
All right, Roland.
Have a great day.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Elliot, what's going on? How are you, man?
I'm good.
All right. Yeah, great. Have a
you're
great day,
leaving?
guys. Yeah, I got to take off.
I'm sorry to see that.
Hey, how
Steve,
you doing, Elliot?
you?
Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you. What's going on?
Just catching up with Roland, talking about kids, and he's looking at kids starting school and maybe playing some little entry-level sports. What about you? What are you doing?
Level, we got soccer tournaments. I just dropped Zach off just now.
Did you?
Yeah. Kind of a busy time, you know. It takes up a lot of time.
It does. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
My kids are older, but they played a lot of sports in the day, so
Yeah,
I know what you're
that.
going through.
It was a busy time for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How's that slowing down a lot?
Oh yeah, I mean it's slowing down. They love sports. I love sports. You know, I love to watch the sports. I love my kids playing sports, but you know, you do got to be careful that it doesn't consume everything you're doing, right? And I don't know about you, but we had practices 3, 4, 5 days a week, and you know, games. And when he got into college, we're crossing all over the state and the Midwest to go watch a game. And sometimes you had to balance. You had to make sure you made time, for example, for prayer, for God, for taking the kids to church. Yeah.
Well, it's hard, you know, because like everything, you have to plan for God, right?
Yeah.
You know, we find that we got to make sure our Sundays are open, or if not, we got to plan on a Saturday night and just planning on getting to Mass at the right time. And sometimes that's hard to do, you know, and just trying to make that a priority, right?
Right. Well, and you know, I guess the other thing that used to concern me is when we were traveling, especially on the road with the kids, is, you know, nobody would miss a game, right? Nobody would dare miss a game. But they didn't think twice about if you said to them, hey, we're going to Mass. I remember when the kids played soccer and we'd be on the road and I'd say, hey, 8 o'clock, coach, I got to take the boy. We're going to go to Mass. They'd be like, well, our first game's at 10. I'm like, sorry, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the hard part, you know, because we're in organized athletics, we're a team sport, and the coaches really call the shots, right?
Right.
And it's not us trying to decide that. We want to be team players, and yet the coaches are calling that in these organized sports. It's somewhat out of our control, so we have to try to plan around that.
Even, like, I remember when my kids were little and these coaches would sometimes want to win at all costs. It didn't matter. They're 8, 9 years old, and it's like, who cares? I don't even remember what happened in those games. You know, if there's trophies, I can guarantee you my kids are not looking at the trophies that they got as 8 or 9 year olds, right? Those things are fleeting and really unimportant, and it's really about teaching a love of the sport. And like you said, using it as an opportunity to develop the body, and the body is treated with respect, and it's a temple of God.
Right. And the other thing is, you know, at least as men, we know that it's important to have a brotherhood among men.
Yep.
And we learn that in sports a lot.
Right.
And even now, as a member of MPB, we have brotherhood. And some of us learn that in team athletics. Yeah. And it's important to work together for a common cause. And we learn that in athletics. So those are important things to learn.
Right, and there's a lot of great leaders in sports, great coaches.
Yes.
I know that my son's benefited, my daughter too, by playing for some people who are just terrific mentors.
Yep.
And so being a great coach, I always remember this little story. I know I got to run here in a moment, but this guy stood up and he said, I want everyone here to raise their hand and tell me if they remember who their, you know, 7th grade English teacher was. You know, like 10 out of 100 guys raise their hand. How many of you remember your 9th grade math teacher? You know, maybe another 10 or 20 raise their hands. Yeah. How many of you remember your coach when you were a 7th grader? Yeah. Almost everybody raised their hand.
Yep.
How about, do you remember your high school coach? Everybody raised their hand. In other words, a coach has a special spot in a kid's life, and we lock them into our memory, and what they say and do and how they conduct themselves is incredibly important, and will be remembered for the rest of that kid's life, no matter whether they're a star player or just somebody who didn't play as much.
Yeah. Great thing to say.
Well, good seeing you, Elliot.
Good to see you too, Steve.
All right, talk to you later, brother.
Yep.